So hi guys, welcome to a triple episode. Now I did say I was going to be doing 2 episodes at a time. The reason I'm going to be doing a triple episode is that is going to set me up so that I know in the future we've got the trailer starting, and what I'll do is I'll then be able to start, if I do 3 episodes now and then 2 and 2, that will set me up so that I do the trailer on one video. There's no cab, just trailer. And then when I start the trailer, I'll do 3 episodes, which then gets me nicely on the number that I want. Because I like to start the video, if I'm doing 2 episodes, I like to do the odd then the even. Because obviously the way the magazines come, they always finish on an odd, on a number divisible by 4. Anyway, I waffle too much. So let's make a crack on issue 81, 82 and 83.
I've pounded the road from coast to coast, Yorkie and me rolling on. 'Cause a long day's run can be short on fun without Yorkie to help me along.
Okay, so this is the parts for issue 81. We have a steering wheel. Feels very flimsy for the, you know, I'm guessing this is the right shape. It's just a scale. But for the size of the truck, you expect it to be heavy duty, and not criticising the part work. I'm criticising the actual truck, if that makes sense. Right, so next we have 81, 2 and 3, which is the mount for the left and the right front indicators. And these are marked. Yes, that's the right. That's the left. 4 and 5 are the indicators, which if you ever see anything with orange plastic, clear plastic, you can probably guess it's going to be indicators. Right, I'm going to cut this out of the bag because it's quite large. This is the part 6, the central emblem for the steering wheel. It's got a nice little daft logo on that. Really fresh to see. And then we've got the steering column, and then we've got DP11 screw, 3 DP11 screws. Don't know what, cut those with scissors, but why not? Why not? So we start off with well, they're both going to be the same, so it doesn't matter if we do left or right or left. So we first of all check the fit, because I didn't check these parts were left or right, but that seems to fit in there fine. Right, or does it? Does it? Yeah, that's gone in. So hopefully this one will go in. There we go. So that stage is 1, 2 and 3 done. And we've got a left and a right indicator. And now that's got an L on it. And that's got an R on it. So next we want to bring in the cab. And what we want to do is get the cat off my leg. Right, look, you want to make an appearance, say hello. There you go, you're on my video, missy. You can go and do what you need to do now. Right, so let's start with the right one. And it looks like it's going to go there on that corner. And perfect fit. And then we're going to secure that with a DP11 screw from the inside. And it's going to be secured, I think it's through this smaller bit. Right, where's, oh no, she's never happy, this cat. Right, turn the cab assembly so you can access the inside. Screw socket. Yes, right, so it needs to be secured where you can just see a little bit of the indicator coming through, and that's too tricky on that side. So in this particular case, this is in the way, so I'm going to switch I might switch. Do you know, I might be able to get to that. I might be able to get to it. No, I'm going to switch screwdrivers because I've just spotted this screwdriver on my desk. So I just want something with a smaller shaft. Right. See, the trouble is, Spirit, if I let you on the desk, I've then got to let Shadow on. And you're just moving everything around. Oh, right. It's very hard to build a truck and keep an eye on the cat. And those Shadow's chirping. Right, I'm going to try and manoeuvre this slightly differently. Try and get a better working angle. It's tricky because of that little post. Oh, the glass has fallen off. I can see now that this screw is going to screw into the glass, and then the actual plastic is going to get wedged between the screw and the plastic, so it will all hold in. I'm confident. It's just getting that screw started. There we go. That is extremely tricky because it's so close to the edge and there's that post in the way. I suspect the other one will be slightly easier. So I'm intrigued. Oh, I see. Yeah, there is a gap. There is going to be a bulb going in there by the looks of it. Right, there's still a lot of movement on that. I'm not happy. There's less movement now. There we are. So I don't think that indicator is going to go in easily. It's not just going to give up without a fight, is it? Right. Right, that indicator glass isn't even in properly. It's missed that little hole. I think it's easy if you get the peg in first. You need to get it in fairly straight, but that's gone in. Right, so second screw, and this will probably be, hopefully be easier. Oh, getting up my leg. I want to let you on here, but you just cause mischief. You're not an evil cat. You just see things to play with, don't you? She's on the lap at the moment. If she stays on the lap, I'm happy. Good girl. It's funny that she's so different from, I mean, she's now my third kitten, and she's a completely different personality. Right, that's on. I'm happy with that. So we've got two indicators, so they're on nice, and that is 9 stages to fix those two indicators on. Right, if I go over to front camera, it's going to be moved because I've got Shadow up there, which is where just have a bit of fun, shall we? Yeah, actually he's not done too bad, but he's just he's sitting there peacefully, but he's rubbing against the I can't get the words out. He's just rubbing against the wires. Right, so I've got to work out. So we need this. So there's a little ring around this steering column. It needs to be higher up, and that doesn't want to fit. Wow, that is a really tight fit. It's definitely the thinner bit at the bottom. Definitely the thinner bit. So there you go, that's in about as well as I can get it. And then this cap is going to go in. Now there's a little tab on the logo. That's obviously going to go on the bottom, and that goes in like that. And that's surprisingly a stiff fit. So, reminder, last minute modification was made to switch housing, so the arrangement of the cable will look slightly different. That's fine. So there we have a steering wheel, and we have a couple of indicators, just some small details. So that's issue 81 done. Issue 82 is steering, and as you can see there's quite a few parts. So we'll see how we get on with those. So 82, I'm kind of judging it on the bags of screws, and there are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 screws, of which there's 10 screws in this issue. So that's quite a bit of work compared to normal, isn't it? But then it's not always the amount of screws, it's the amount of putting this bit and that bit on. Right, so 82.1 is a steering link. That is metal, so that suggests to me perhaps we are soon going to be doing some work on the chassis, or perhaps we are getting the chassis out. Right, so two pieces that look very similar: steering column housing right and left. Piece number 4, which looks something like that, that looks like a pedal. Steering column lock handle. 5 is the steering column joint. I think that's metal. I'm sure that's metal. It certainly feels metal. Then we've got their screws, right, so just these parts. Right. So we've got a little white, there we go, a little Y-shaped piece. That is a steering column guide. 1, 2, 3, 4. They might be the wrong way round. Right, then we have a spring for the steering column guide, and then we want 2 little tabs. These are called clips for cables. And then we've got 4 sets of screws, DP5, DD1, DD6 and DP12. So let's see how we get on. So first thing we need is the spring and the steering column guide, which is the Y-shaped piece, and that's going on like that. Extremely dangerous at the moment, because that springs, by, I've said this before, by the nature of springs, they can go flying off everywhere. Right, so we want this so the holes are exposed, and I think that's the correct way. And we're going to be putting this steering, it looks like it's going in like that. No, I see what's happening. It's going to go in, yes, so it's going to go in upright. So you can see that it's creating a guide for the steering wheel to go in like that at some point. Okay, and actually the steering wheel does go in next. So the steering wheel goes in, and the little round bit goes in between those two there. So we'll hold the spring down, we'll bring the steering wheel in, and double checking, yes, that's correct. and that spring is going to hold that, so there's less. This is such a good build, guys. Obviously what they've done is they've looked at other builds and they've gone, the problem is, and then they've gone and fixed it. But if you look at old builds, like really old builds, the technology changes as time goes on. So whether they've looked at our videos between all of us guys and come up with solutions based on what we've said, or they've just come up with it themselves, I don't know. Right, so this needs to be secured with DP5 screws. So I'm going to do something very unusual. I'm going to hold this in my mouth. I don't want to let go. And that didn't actually work because it sprung open. Right, lovely. So one screw. We are going to need some more DP5s. So I'm a bit wary of taking them out of the box, out of the bag. But there you go, guys. Right, so that steering wheel column is now locked in place. So we'll check. Steering is lovely, look, beautiful. I just felt a little click. Yeah, look, if you move the steering, but it doesn't move on its own. There's quite a bit of resistance on that spring. That's really nice. It actually does say that the steering and the, I'm getting some clicking. Should I be concerned? I don't think so. I'll just make sure those screws are done up fully. Yeah, there's still a bit of clicking. I think it's just that spring. Okay, so check how the steering wheel lock handle fits. So I'm guessing now what this is. That's the wrong way round, or is it? Right, so I'm going to guess that what this is, on most of our buses, but not all, yeah, it is actually directional. See, in your fancy cars, you press a button or you pull a lever and you can adjust the steering. On most of our buses, you press a button or you press a lever. As the lever is pushed down, you can then adjust the steering column so you can move it up or down. You know, if you're someone like me who's got little legs and you like your steering wheel right in your lap, I'll move the seat right forward and then have the seat low. But if you're perhaps tall with long arms, you might then want it more upright, and you push that lever down to adjust the steering column. So enough waffle, let's crack on, because I want to get this done today, not next week. I'm suspecting that's what it is. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave a comment. Know how I work. Okay, so check that the cable is running through the channel. Fit the two cable clips over the cables and push them in place over the pegs as shown. Check how tight the fit is and fix in place with a little bit of super glue if necessary. So if you remember in a previous episode, we had to run the cables through this little channel, and there's a couple of pegs, and I said, well, that's no good because that's not going to fit, that's not going to stay there. Well, we now have the cable clips, and that's one in place. Now, is that going to fit? Is that going to stay there? Quite possibly, quite probably. Do I trust it? No. So somewhere on here, this is going to be such a simple fix, guys. what we do is we get our super glue, and this is super glue gel, even though it's in a small tube, and I think this one might be dead actually. No, it's not dead. So I'll get a cocktail stick and I'll just put a small dab of glue on, and I'll just run that around the top. This isn't going to look pretty, but that clip is not coming off. So there we go, guys. So that's the clips in place. You can see there's a little bit too much glue on that one, but that's fine. Okay, so it looks like this is about to get exciting. No, it will do in a later stage. Right, so we're going to flip it over, and we need to place the steering column in the two holes there, like so. And then we need to flip that over, and we need to secure that with two DP12 screws, which look like top hat screws, as we sometimes call them. They've got the very wide head. So, right, so we'll carefully put one screw in, just enough to hold. Then we'll place another screw in, and this can go in all the way, and this is going to give it a lot more purchase. It's like putting a washer in between this, underneath the screw. Right, so that's the steering in place. Lovely. Steering's still working. Right, so now it's going to get exciting. No, it's still not going to get exciting. Yes, it is. I mean, it's not exciting, if that makes sense. Right, so we need to take the cab floor assembly from issue 18, taking care not to dislodge the seats, gear stick and other parts. Fit the floor into the base of the cab. Ensure that the cable 77/8 runs through the joint between the floor and the cab. So this is the cab floor. This wants to run down there, and I can't see how this is going to go in. This is the back. No, this goes in there. Oh, there's lots of gaps there. So, and I mean that in a good way. By lots of gaps, I mean there's places for the cables to run, although I may have got that wrong. Right, so when in position, screw holes in tabs on the edge of the floor align with screw sockets. I can't even find the screw holes. Ah, there we go. So there's one there, so I can see this cab isn't in enough. So that needs to go in lower. So the fact that this isn't going any lower, does that mean I've not put it in place properly, or does it mean that the cab is bent? I'm just worried that I have a defective cab. You can see how disappointing it would be now if I discovered that was bent. But it doesn't want to go up any higher. I suspect that this piece wants to go up to there. So I must have something. Yeah, that wants to go up this side, but not this side. So I've got something. Ah, there we go. Look, so we've got the steering column. It's not going through that hole. So I just need to lower that a bit, and then just bring that steering column down. That's not fitting. That's a poor fit. can't be a poor fit. So I'm going to loosen off this steering column, and that'll give me more wiggle then on the steering column. Yes. It's that steering column that's given me the issues. It needs to go through the hole in the floor. Right. But I don't want to undo these screws so much that they come out. I just want to be able to wiggle it. That's as far as I dare. But that's certainly more manoeuvrable. There we go. There we go. So that cab floor is in. So now that's in, I can redo the steering column. Right, there we go. So steering still moves. So seats in, that's looking quite a busy cab now, isn't it? So I haven't knocked anything. I've got switches. There's the power switch. There's the left and the right switch. There's the brake. I can't remember any more switches. Right, so we're looking to somehow secure this in, aren't we? Tabs on the top edge. Right. Fix the front of the cab floor in place with two DP5s, which which ones are the DP5s? I seem to have lost some screws. Right, two DP5s, and they're going to go in there. I've lost the entire packet of screws from this issue. I don't understand how. DP5s. Ah, they were the black ones. There we go. There's one. Right, I'm going to have to look through my spares. I've got to be honest with you, I've not been keeping my spares properly. So there's one DP5. Do you know what? I'm going to use that screw. I'm being ever so naughty there. I can't confirm if it is the correct screw, but right, so two screws, one in there. There you go. I don't know what that's biting with, but that's just found something to bite onto, and then we'll find out if this is the correct screw. You know what, that might actually have been a DP5. It might actually have been the DP5. Right, there we go, that's in. So the two tabs on the sides are fixed to the cab with DD1s, which is this one, and there's only 3 in there, which means we need 2 and 1 spare. And I think that might be all that floor is secured with. 4 screws. It just goes to show, this is going into metal, isn't it? Right, that's nice. That's really, really nice. I'm going to steal a Honda advert. I'm going to say, don't you just love it when things just work? That is beautiful. Everything's gone together really nicely. Right, so we need to push fit the steering column post, which is this one. on the end of the steering column, which is there. So we have a circle with a flat bit, and we have the flat bit there. So that is, now that doesn't feel that secure. Now it does. Yes. Now that's not really tight in there, but I suspect that once we connect this with the next bit, that will keep it on, because it just won't be room on the other side. Right, so we need the chassis next. There isn't going to be a lot of work to do on this, and we're going to need a DD06 screw, so I'm keeping that safe. Right, so we need the chassis, and we need to take the chassis assembly, and we need this piece 82.1, and we need to pop that over the screw socket there. So that's going to give us our steering, and I'm now not trusting that, because I see. Right, so these are going to get joined up later on. This little bit that I was a little bit suspicious of, this has obviously got something to do with the cab, so I guess the steering wheel is going to come down there, and that's where the linkage is. So that's going to move that. By moving that up and down, it's going to move that left and right. And then once we link that up with that wheel, this wheel will be moving that wheel. Standard steering wheel, really. Right, so that needs to be secured with a DD06 screw, which is a top hat screw, which I think we kind of expected. If you look at the shape of this. Right, so be careful, because this is trying to come off. Right, now how tight do I go on this? Because if this is loose, it's not going to go anywhere, because the other end is going to be, I think that needs to have some looseness on it, because it's going to help. Sorry, I'm off camera, guys, I apologise. Although that is very loose and it moves up and down, however, that's probably needs that because it's moving around. Right, so that is that magazine done. The floor's been fitted in the cab, and a steering link has been attached, and we're going to do the next mag, which is, this is the third one, isn't it? 81, 82, 83. So it's going to be the last one we do. We are 33 minutes. I think we're not too bad. Right, so scissors. What has happened to my scissors? My scissors have walked. They are right in front of me, as they always normally are. Right, so this is issue 83, grab handles and lights, and there is a single packet of screws. I can't cut this end. I don't know why. My cutting abilities have gone. Okay, so we have got two grab handles, rear grab handle right and left. That's 1 and 2. I don't know which way they are yet, but it will all become uncovered. We then have part 3, front grab handle. I'm going to have to adjust my camera. It keeps moving. Obviously I keep moving it, but then we have piece 4, which is this white lower grille for the front of cab. And then we have 2 light bulbs. We have got left indicator LED and cable labelled 3, which is this one. And then we have the right indicator LED and cable labelled 4. And then we've got DP02, 3 of, 1 spare. So there's only 2 screws in the whole build. Let's get these screws out now ready. So take the lower front grille. Note that it has 2 raised screw sockets on the back. There they are. This wants to go on the front of the cab, which is going to go there. Right. Screw sockets on the back of the grille align with the screw holes on the cab. The lower edge of the grille is below the lower edge of the cab. Now that's the only place it will line up, but it's not going to be flat unless it goes that way. I need to see another picture. No, that's up. I don't know. Yes, so the low. Oh, sorry, I'm off camera again. No, not off camera. So the grill, the bottom of the grill needs to come to the bottom of the cab. So it needs to go in like that. Now, screw the grill in place with 2 DP screws. That's always nice when we get rid of all of the screws right at the start of the build, because it's then one less thing to worry about. Right, and that is not easy to get to. Right, so that first screw is put in just enough to grab. Can you see this red part has got in the way? And the steering is going to get in the way. I'm going to have to use a different screwdriver. Right, that is going to get in the way. The steering. Right, let's pull that off. Right. So I've pulled the end of the steering bit off, just to give me a bit more space. And then that doesn't, there we go, that's grabbing. So this can go in all the way, and that first screw's just fallen out, so I didn't put that in quite enough. I'm so glad this is more decorative than functional, because it's got no strength to it. It doesn't need it, but right. Lovely, that's back on. Right, so that's that part done. So there's no look, it's slightly bent. It's almost like the parts don't quite fit. Okay, so that's done. So we need to take the rear grab handles marked L. I didn't know they were marked. So well, they're not marked very well, are they? Really are not. Ah, that is marked. It's marked on the inside. Right, so there's the little L there. I'm not even going to show it to you, because by the time I've spent all that time focusing, it's probably not worth it. Right, so we've got 2 holes there, and it looks like, does that want to come in from the inside out? Because we can't put it on the outside because we've got the door. Wow, why do they make us put this in now? Saying that, I can manoeuvre from through the window because there's no actual window in it, but it's still going to be difficult. Wow, that's a glasses off moment. See, that seat is in the way. And don't forget, we don't even know if this part fits. Do you know what? Right, it says that the one hole is slightly larger. So if I put this in the wrong way, which I've just done, it's not going to fit. Right, I'm going to have another look at picture in a later stage, because I think that definitely fixes on the inside. It has to, because otherwise you won't shut the door. You see, that makes it look like it's, yeah, it's his extremely fiddly part. Very, very fiddly. All I can do is just keep trying until I get it in. Wow. Wow. Right. Why have they left it so late? Okay, it kind of might help. Right, it works, looks like it's going to work better. What I've had to do, and I haven't done it, but this is going to help. You need to look through this door to see where the holes are, and then work from there. Which means I can't show you on camera, because that's what I'm doing. I'm working through. But when I do that, you're not going to be able to see because my head is in the way. But that first one is trying to go in, and then I'm trying to swivel it to get the second one in. And then the first one's falling out. So the seat is still in the way, but it's easier. Right, so I've got the top half in. This is really not looking like a YouTube friendly build, is it? Got it. Right, so that's the first handle in. So do you remember when I said in an earlier episode that's going to have to be glued in? I'm not trusting that. That's going to fall out. So yeah, do you remember when I said in an earlier episode about the grab handle, and I said that as you walk in you grab, what did I do with that glue? There we go. Right, let's get a bit of plastic. Oh. This is the glue. This is fresh opened today, so this is good glue. Right, so what I'm going to do is get a cocktail stick, and I'm just going to put a little, it's fallen out. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Right. So let's see if that's going to fall out that easily. Let's half push it out. Carefully place a dab of glue, then push it in. And then we'll do the same with the other bit. So I've actually pushed the cocktail stick in with the glue so far that it pushes the handle back out slightly. There we go, that's in. So that handle is in nicely. Right, so now we've got to try and do the same on the other side. And what I've learned is you only really need to get one peg in. Once you get one peg in, you can maneuver it and kind of rotate it on that one peg. Are you in view, guys? You are. So this has now made it a lot easier. Right, but the first peg's just fallen out. And I've just broken the tab off. That's so delicate, guys. So I've only got the one tab now to do this with. If I break that one off, I've got nothing left. Right, that's in. So we'll glue that one on, in. So I've pushed the cocktail stick through, so it pushes the handle out slightly. Then I can apply glue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to glue the end of that handle. It's such a shame that is, but that just goes to show how delicate it is. Right. So if I get a stage and it says, you may find it easier to remove the grab handle, I think I might scream. Okay, so going back, I said you had a grab handle there to help the passenger get in, and then he'll hold either that or something, but he's actually got a grab handle there, so that's all good. Right, so those handles are in with some fuss but not too much fuss, and that's the other side is in as well. Now we need to identify the two holes at the front of the driver's door. That's the other grab handle. Right, it does actually say using a little super glue if necessary. Right, oh no, sorry, I thought that looked odd. So this is another handle. This is, so there's the passenger handle. This driver one is much bigger, so that's going to have to go in there, and that's going, oh, this is tricky. Oh no, it's a lot easier actually. Right, I said that and it's fallen out. Right, so as I can find that one easily, I'm going to spread, there's a much larger surface area there. So I'm going to spread some super glue gel, and I'm going to position that in. In it goes, perfect. And then I'm just going to try and find this hole. I might wait for that to dry actually. I'm not going to, you know me guys, I'm a little bit impatient. I tell you all to go very careful, and then I rush things myself. Right, I don't know if that's going to go in without breaking it. You've basically got to locate, oh there we go, that's gone in. And what I was going to say was you've got to locate a hole blindly, which may or may not be the correct size, but that's gone in fine. Now the steering's just fallen off again. Okay, so that leaves us with the indicator bulb. So we've got to fit the indicators, so we need to take the left indicator labeled 3, so that's this one, and the left is on this side, so we need to thread this up through. How are we going to do that? I need to push the floor just to create a temporary gap. That's right, lovely job. So let me have a look at the front. Where's the other indicator? Why have we got two indicator bulbs? There's only one indicator. Unless that's going further down. It might well do. Okay, I'm going to ignore it then. Right, so this is going to go in through there, and then with great difficulty we are going to pop that into there. Hopefully that will hold, and then we can just pull some of that wire back. So that's the left indicator fitted. And it doesn't tell us what to do with the excess. Right, so let me do that again with the right bulb with less detail. I don't even know if I put the right bulb in, to be honest with you. Right, yes, that was the correct bulb. One is on a single cable. They're not, they're both on a double cable. Right, okay, so we need the actual connector. It comes up to a bulb and then it goes out to another bulb. It's that last bulb we're after. Now it needs to come in from underneath. There's a hole there, but you're going to need to press the floor to give you a bit of temp. This is terrible. This is slightly bad planning, I think. There we go. So push the floor a little bit to bring that cable out. Then holding it by the side cables, you need to then push that. There's a little hole in the indicator. Then holding either side of the cables with something that can hold, such as tweezers, pop that in there. Then we can just pull this excess back in, and there we go, guys. That's the indicator then. And it keeps reminding us about this switch housing, but that's fine. Right, guys, so that is issue 83 complete. That's 3 issues, and I've just pulled this bloody handle off. I've just picked it up and I caught the handle and it's come off and it's gone. No, that's okay. I've got away with that. Whew. So I pulled the grab handle. This is what I pulled. These are very delicate, these pieces. I can see these being snapped off by some people. Right, so once it's all complete, that'll be fine. Or you can glue it. It's up to you guys. Right. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Right, so, oh, and this has fallen off. I'm going to just take this off, I think. Right, so that's it, guys. That's 83 done. Very happy with that. A little bit longer than I wanted it to take because of the few little problems, but that's absolutely fine. Right, guys, so I will now be doing 2 issues at a time. So next week is going to be 84 and 85. So hopefully I'll catch you in the next issue.